Alrighty, and with that, good Monday morning, everybody. Welcome to the Courtroom Files Live. Thought I'd start the show off just a little bit different. It's a busy Monday morning. Let's start out with Judge Meineke.
Sure we get this right once and for all.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I try to give Judge Meineke a chance, and he's just way too silent for my liking. Let's go to Judge McNally.
Englewood versus Todd Wade, 2501558.
Good morning, Your Honor. Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Mr. Wade has not appeared, Your Honor.
All right, and there was a second mailing, counsel. You can go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have rent to retain in the amount of $993.93. Late fees of $100. That's $50 for 2 months. Court costs $189.79. Total $1283.72 with a writ to issue in 10 days.
Excuse me. Defendant failed to appear. Default judgment's entered. The amount to be paid to save it is $1283.79. The writ date in this case will be on May the 15th. Again, defendant failed to appear and was given his 15 minutes. Do you have any more, counsel?
Thank you, Judge. Nope, that's all I have.
Have
I'll
a
see you
great day. Yeah, thank you. All right. Gibraltar Point versus Emily Marshall, 2501560. Good morning, ma'am. Your name?
Emily Marshall.
And
All right.
Honor Jen Wilburn, P8343 for plaintiff.
What's there? You recall at 8:30 she just showed up.
What happened with it?
She said she just checked her mail today and got it.
Just checked her mail today?
Apparently she doesn't look at that address somewhere.
Was that with Stratford?
That was. Grant Televalley.
I already ruled on that.
That's what I told her.
You gotta show up on time, man.
My manager.
You gotta show up on time. I already,
Told me to be here at 9 o'clock.
you got court notices from us. I told you.
I know, I just.
It was scheduled for 8:30. You'll have to go down the hall and they'll tell you what to do, but
All right.
I've already, you gotta be here on time. Wait, shh. I'm not gonna carry on a conversation. I'm sorry, I can't do that.
How do I make an appointment?
You can go down and talk to the civil department, okay? All right, Ms. Marshall, did you listen to and understand the rights on the video?
Yes.
Do you wish to speak to a lawyer?
No.
Did you apply or do you intend to apply for funding?
No, I was just concerned because I don't want the eviction on my record. I had a family emergency and I couldn't pay my rent.
Slow down a second. Ms. Wilburn, can you tell me how much is owed? Just I don't need a breakdown now.
So inclusive of the court costs, we're looking at a balance of $2,209.17.
Can you pay that today, ma'am?
I cannot.
Well, when can you pay that?
I can't. Like 2 months. But I want to leave. almost everything in my apartment is moved out. I just have to move my couple big things, and I'm
Here's what I'll do. I'm gonna let you go into a breakout room with Ms. Wilburn when we're done, okay?
okay.
She's got other cases. She's at least got one more, I see. I don't know if you have another apartment complex. If you do, you can tell me when we're done, but just be patient and we will put you in a breakout room with Ms. Wilbur and see if you can resolve it, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Portia Russian, Gibraltar Point versus Portia Russian.
Good morning once again. Welcome to the Courtroom Files Live. We'll give Judge Meineke another try here. If you'll notice on the top left of your screen, starting today, we are also streaming live on X and on Rumble. If you are a member of either one of those social media platforms, you'll find links to our X and our Rumble down in the description for this video. Please do follow us in those places if you're already over there. We'd really appreciate it. Both of those are brand new accounts, so follow us, we'll follow you, all that kind of thing. And just trying to increase the reach here. As far as landlord-tenant, Ashley, there's a whole lot of civil stuff going on this morning all over the place. But it seems like Judge Meineke has kind of a mixed docket, so we'll go back to him for a little bit.
Interaction with the police. This shouldn't be. It shouldn't be this way. You shouldn't have had this many conversations with police officers at this stage in your life. Thank you, counsel. We'll see you back here in 6 months. We'll send notice.
Thank you.
Oh.
And Your Honor, he'll get the probation forms in the mail to report to probation. Is
Well,
that...
yeah. Probation will be in touch with him because they got to get him signed up for that intensive driver's course. They got to get him signed up for how to provide proof of the community service. They'll do all that. So, as long as they can get a hold of you, Miss Aqua, they'll get that all set up with Mr. Mills. So you don't have to do anything right now, Mr. Mills. They'll contact you. Okay.
Thank you very much, Your Honor, and thank you for indulging us and listening to us this morning, as always.
All right. Good luck, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Steinberg. Did I lose him?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll get this. We will figure this out. That's the only thing I can offer you. Like this is me valuing your son, not giving up or looking to ultimately sanction. This is me hoping that we can do better.
I can see that and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, goodbye.
All right, Ms. Tonelli and Mr. Martin. Mr. Steinberg is speaking with the prosecutor right now, so it shouldn't be much longer. All right, Mr. O'Malley, do you need to speak with the prosecutor?
I do not, Your Honor. We've already spoken.
All right, Mr. Gagnick, on yours. Monica, when you get a chance, I do need the Devin Howard file. They haven't appeared, so we're just going to issue a bench warrant.
That's fine, Judge. Do you want to put that on the record, or is the court going to handle it?
I'm gonna put it on the record right now, and then I'm gonna endorse the file. Okay.
Not a problem.
23 RO 06779, 24 RO 07184, 24 RO 07184A, People versus Devin Howard.
Judge, for the record, Patrick Gagnick on behalf of Mr. Howard. Judge, my review of the file on my end, this has been a recurring theme. I know there was a bench warrant issued, I believe, the end of last year. Unbeknownst to me, he was arraigned at some point. I was reissued today's date. The number I have for him is just not connecting to him. I've not had contact with him. So as far as proceeding, Judge, I'm without any information for his non-appearance. I would leave it to your discretion as far as how you want to proceed.
Well, if we lifted the bench warrant and he still did not appear, then the court will unfortunately be in a position where I can't afford any other adjournments. We had our chance, so to speak, and unfortunately,
I'm right here in the meeting. I'm here.
Mr. Howard, you made it?
I'm Glenn Stockton.
No, Mr. Stockton. You're this is a different case, sir. You're good.
Okay, okay.
Mr. Stockton, you're here, your attorney's here, you're good. We got
Oh,
other.
I'm thinking y'all skipping me. I'm like, no, I'm here.
No. We're dealing with another case. So Devin Howard, not Glenn Stockton, is going to have a bench warrant issued. So Mr. Gagnick, you're all set. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you, Judge.
All right. So, Mr. Pelly, do you need to speak with the prosecutor on Glenn Stockton?
I do, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Stockton, hang tight. Your attorney's going to speak with the prosecutor. Okay.
Okay.
Let's head over to Judge Rockhill West.
To try to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to reset your case about 30 days to give you some time to try to hire someone.
I've called 4 or 5 different ones, and they're all pretty much out of my price range. That's one of the reasons.
Right. Are you working?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what I'm going to just give you some time to call some more, and then we'll see if you do everything I ask. Then when you come back, we'll talk about your options and a court appointed possibly. Okay. So if you do get someone hired before the next court date, bring the reset notice that you get today to that lawyer. They'll tell you what to do. If you're unable, I want you to talk to, or I'm ordering you to visit with at least 3 more. You can tell probably already they have different payment plans. They all charge different amounts. Bring me back the names of everyone you've talked to, and then we'll discuss what your options are. If you don't do that, then when you come back, you run the risk of me raising your bond for not following the court order, and you go back to jail.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Step in front of the clerk. She'll give you your reset notice. Christaven Westbrook. Good morning. Are you Christaven Westbrook? And stand up. Mr. Westbrook, were you able to get a lawyer hired? Who'd you talk to? Why can't you tell me? Did you write it down?
No, ma'am.
Why not? How old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay.
I was told that I already had a court-appointed lawyer also.
Well, but you were here in front of me and I told you what to do, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I told you what could happen if you didn't do what I asked you, right? What was that?
My bond was to be raised,
Mm-hmm.
and I was, I guess, arrested.
Are you still in school?
Not at the moment, but I was going to go to job court and stuff.
So you were gonna go, but you didn't?
I couldn't because I ended up getting in trouble
Get in trouble for what?
for the evading arrest and stuff, the charges that I'm on now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If I test you, you gonna have anything in your system?
No, ma'am, I shouldn't.
Okay, have a seat in the jury box. We're gonna get you tested first. That's okay. Daryl Albritton. Good morning, sir. You're Daryl Albritton?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Albritton, did you get someone hired?
Well, his name Joseph Lindbergh.
I can't understand you.
Joseph Lindbergh.
Joseph Lindbergh?
Yeah, I just got him. I just started back working. So
Where's he from?
I think Beaumont. I ain't from here. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So have you paid him yet, or?
I'm processing.
Okay. Did you talk to anybody else, or you're
Yeah,
planning?
Marvin Lewis, but he hard to get in touch with.
Okay. All right, so, I'm gonna give you another 30 days to get Mr. Lindbergh or someone else hired. Make sure you bring the reset notice that you get to them if you get them hired. If it's not gonna work, you need to talk to at least 3 others and bring me those names, okay? Step in front of the clerk. She'll give you your reset notice. Catherine Castillo. Good morning, ma'am. Come on up. You're Catherine Castillo?
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Did you get someone hired?
I'm still saving for my retainer.
For who?
I think it's the Gertz Family Law Firm, Tom.
He's right there.
Oh, hi. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm referencing it.
Okay, and so where are you on being able to get that?
I'm hoping to have the initial payment by the end of this month.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna reset your case one more time. You need to try to get that initial payment done so he can get to work on your case.
Yes, ma'am.
If it's not gonna work out with Mr. Kelly for some reason, then you need to talk to at least 3 others and bring me those names. Okay, you can step in front of the clerk.
All right, Judge Fleischer has started his day. Let's go say good morning to him.
And so the team that had to come back. So I was thrilled as a just fan of the game and not liking either of those teams. Apparently, that's what they say.
Morning, Mr. Coates.
Good morning, Sam.
No. We've literally given you opportunity after opportunity. When you're out on bond, you get the opportunity to try to do things right. We give that to you going out there. You ever need resources, we give you a lawyer. It's your responsibility to ask a lawyer whenever you need resources. And then after that, you get on probation. Probation is the ultimate, I guess, opportunity for you to be able to do stuff on your own.
Yes, sir.
We now know if I let you out there and I ask you to do it on your own, it's not going to happen. You've shown that to us. And when you come back and you try to explain it, it's everybody else's fault but yours. And you try to blame it on, I ain't got a ride, I got this person, that person not helping me out. And so now we have to resort to more drastic measures to try to get you on our side. And I think that this is it.
Yes, sir. Yes.
After this, I really don't have much more than just jail. And I'm trying to get you out, and I'm trying to get you to understand and learn and be a better person by giving you the tools.
Yes, sir. That's understandable.
That's all, right?
Your Honor, if I may.
Sure.
If I may. Like, again, like, I understand how I was saying it, like, last week when I came. It did sound like I was blaming everybody else, yes. It's docketed down, like, I have reasoning to most of those lates. The days that I didn't show, there's reasonings, like, there's reasonings to that, and it's not BS reasonings, you know what I mean? Like, and I understand, like, it's not trusted that if I go home today, I'm not gonna show up. I'm way closer to this side of town now. I'm not all the way out there in Katy. I was all the way out there in A-Leaf. It was further as a bus ride to get out here. And yes, there was nobody to bring me, nothing. Like, I understand, like, it's all on me. I can't blame nobody else but myself, because if I really wanted it done, I should have brought myself down here and got it done. Yes, sir, that's understandable. And I take my accountability for that. But I'm way closer. I have, like, a lot of good things going for me right now. Like, I have a good job, a good paying job. All it takes is for me to call in to work, sir. Like, literally, all it takes for me to call in to work. It's a 30, 45-minute bus ride to get here. There's nothing for me to miss. Like, nothing. Like, I understand there's no chances that wants to be given. All I'm asking is just one. I missed that. It'd be just a year.
And here's the rub. He didn't even show up one time, right? You didn't even show up one time to your probation. That tells me that you just don't give a flip, because not even one time did you show up to probation.
Sir, I was kicked out, sir. I was kicked out.
There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. Oh,
it's
the pink elephant. There it goes. Mr. Coates. That was your opportunity. I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't know what's going on with you. So what I do is I have you speak to our clinicians who are best able to tell us how to move forward with this case. They have. And I think that that's the appropriate way.
I haven't even got to speaking to them.
You got what? Is there something else?
I'm just asking for a chance, bro. I messed that chance up. You could sit me down for 25 to life.
That can happen.
Like, bro, like, that's all I'm asking for is just a monitor time. Like, you could slap that monitor time 5 p.m. if you needed to. Like, it's all on me. Like, I could make a call in to work and I could show up. I was all the way out there in Katy. I'm not trying to blame nobody else because, again, yes, it's all on me. It is my fault. I should have made myself known to come down here. Again, I was kicked out due to a lot of reasonings. There was a lot of things going on in my life, sir. Nothing's going on now. I got everything straight. Like, everything is situated. I got a job. All it takes is for me to call in to work, sir. Like, this is not something I want to do. This sitting in there is not something I want to do. I don't belong in there. I don't belong in there with them people. I'm not one of these people that just mess up and just want to don't care. I do care.
Okay. We have a program that has been recommended by the TRAS, by the clinicians.
Sir, I'm going to be sitting here for 4 to 6 weeks, adding time before going to there.
I'll do my best.
We're going to expedite it to make sure that you get in there quicker, okay? But you have to understand, Mr. Coates, actions have consequences. This is it. I'm trying to intervene in a manner that you don't graduate to the cases that go upstairs. That's all I want, okay? I brought you out here to let you know what's happening now, to amend the conditions.
I'd rather do my jail time, honestly.
Okay.
I don't need that place. I don't need an attitude adjustments. I'm a very respectful person. Y'all just not trying to work with me.
Okay. All right. We're going to expedite. If need be, I'll get on the phone and I'll talk to myself.
I'm going to sit here for another month.
Well, I'm going to work on it for you, Mr. Coates.
Thank you, Judge.
I will. Okay. Get on with Shatoria. Get it quicker.
Yes. 2, 5, 2, 1, 6. Judge, are you ready for damage around?
Yeah.
All right, page 10. Gutierrez, Benitez. Come on up. Okay.
Más
escuché el juez.
You are Mr. Eric Gutierrez Benitez.
Yes.
Is it Benitez? So you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. On April 28, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, law enforcement officers were dispatched to a major accident and made contact with a law enforcement officer who stated they had smelled an odor of alcoholic beverage from the defendant. The law enforcement officer made contact with the defendant, and upon opening the defendant's vehicle, he too smelled the strong odor of alcoholic beverage. The defendant stated he was on his way home from the park where he consumed 3 12-ounce beers. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted, a 6 out of 6 on the HGN, a 2 out of 8 on the walk and turn, a 0 out of 4 on the one-leg stand. The defendant consented to provide a breath sample and blew a .142 and a .125.
Give you eyes. No, Your Honor. License?
Licencia de conducir. ¿Tienen licencia de conducir?
Judge, the license is up.
There is Benitez, I'm going to find that there are sufficient probable cause to go forward with the case. I am ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds. I don't know what your immigration status is, but if you're not in this country with permission and you go to jail and immigration finds you because they sweep it hourly, they will put an immigration detainer on you and you will be stuck like Chuck in custody until this case is over with. And then you get shipped off to immigration. You are not to violate any of these conditions and you're not allowed to drive unless you have a valid Texas driver license and liability insurance in your name. Those are bond conditions of yours as well. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you have a lawyer today?
Abogado hoy?
No, not that. Do you have the ability to hire one?
Yes.
We're going to give you time.
Vamos a dar.
So I will have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. After that, you'll meet with Roxanne for your bond conditions. After that, you'll be free to go. Don't pick up any new cases. Don't be a danger to my city.
Digo, pero cuidado, no sé.
All right, come on. Hey, Will.
Hey.
Happy Monday. What's new? Yeah.
I'm here on Mr. Weinzel, W-E-I-N-Z.
Weinzel. What's the deal?
The deal is, so we have an AFM in here, picked up, continuous. You revoked and raised, he made bond, it's fine in both cases. He's here. I don't think we ever redid his bond conditions for him to sign. So we just wanted to knock that out today. We are waiting on felony to indict this case, indict the felony or no bill, honestly, so we can resolve this AFM. Blaze is here to comment on
So
that.
not at D-Day yet, but you're getting there.
I know.
It's not our fault here. It's really because our arms in the continuous, we need to see that diagram. I'm gonna email felony to see if they can just expedite getting to grand jury, so we can just start the case with felon.
Okay. I mean, they have 180 days. What if they wait?
Right, and this case was filed in February, so that's August. So we're
So
not,
you set this for trial to kill it upstairs? You know?
well, it would.
Expedite it.
To dismiss it before the fight.
I mean,
I'm okay with that.
well, it's up to you. You're at 160 now. I'm going to give you guys another reset, but at that point, you know.
Would it be a 30-day, Your Honor? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as I can waive my guy's appearance, that's okay with me, because it's hard for him to move around.
What are we doing with the next?
You need to decide what to do, either set it or.
Yeah, I'll set it as soon as possible. Okay. And then can we just do same bond conditions as the original?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do they order no contact with him? Is he here now?
Yes, but he's talking noise.
Please. You want no contact on the complainant?
Let me see. Let me see. Let me look at what they ordered. Hold on. I've got it here for the felony case. It says no contact with Christian.
No contacts over.
Okay.
So.
It's not. It's not. I hope it's not.
I was talking about.
So I'm in the felony court. It says no contact.
Okay.
So the felon changes. Like we should hear.
Let me just pull up the phone case, make sure that it doesn't, I'm not 1906. I have 3/1/25. There were bond conditions signed. No contact. He signed it, the
He's thinking of the MOA, most likely.
Yeah, he's probably thinking of the MUP is what he's thinking. Yeah, but just explain to him he's not allowed to have contact with this person. We'll mirror the conditions. Since he's here, we'll just have him sign it, or if you want to print out a copy of it and just take it to him, it'll be easier.
Okay.
And then we'll give you the 30 days.
Okay.
What do you want?
Do I give you to get a copy?
No.
Wait, please.
Okay. Wait.
Was everything?
Oh, yeah.
As long as we know that he knows and he's,
We are in contact.
I believe,
Okay.
you're an officer of the court, I trust you.
Yes, sir. Thank
So,
you.
Teacher?
yeah, I'm strong. Hey, morning.
I have a quick off docket question. This is for Russell Singleton. We are set for trial May 20th. Last week, felony reset his felony cases to May 20th. Should we keep the same trial date or reset? Keep the same trial date?
I mean, we're
Okay.
set for trial.
Right.
I'm not gonna cave just because they happen to put it on the same.
Okay,
No, I mean, we have our trial date. We're,
okay,
unless he takes something, we're going,
right, okay. So
yeah.
Singleton, Russell Singleton. I think this is Sebastian's case.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Judge.
Yeah. Yes.
Relatively slow morning in Judge Fleischer's court, especially compared to others. Let's go say good morning to Judge Boyd. She was off last week, so it's been a while since we've seen her.
And are you Joanna Reyes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is a case where she entered a plea on December 18, 2018 of guilty.
Yes, Your Honor.
And applied for deferred adjudication. And let me see the attached plea bargain agreement, which is not attached. Let me see if I can find what your plea is.
Sorry, Judge, I don't have a copy of it, but I know there was one in the file. Seen it.
All right, let me see. All right, we can go off the record. If y'all want to see, if you can find it in here somewhere.
Yeah, Judge, I mean, it may not be in there,
But I think Cindy may have a copy of it.
if she doesn't, I can probably go upstairs
Sure.
and grab one.
All right.
I'll take a look at this if you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. It didn't have the plea bargain agreement attached. Who's here on Matthew Tyler Moran?
Present, Your Honor. Bishop Young Soo.
He is. And who's the prosecutor? Hi,
Good morning, Judge.
good morning.
Oh, wow, that's how I look like. I told you.
Oh, yeah.
Told you, Mr. Chubby.
Nah. All right, so we're here for an offer is due and also discovery.
Yes, Your Honor, there's one more piece of discovery that I need to upload or ensure that it has been uploaded, and I have tendered an offer to defense.
Okay. And when will that be uploaded?
I can get that done later today.
All right, other than that, is there any other discovery?
No, Your Honor, just for the record, the only thing we're missing right now is the video interview of the complaining witness.
Mhm.
And that's what's lacking at the moment.
Okay. All right, Ms. Ferguson, put this for a plea deadline date, the beginning of June. All right, June 3rd is your plea deadline date. If an agreement is not reached by that time, your next court date is going to be a jury trial setting. The court will not accept any plea bargain agreements after June 3rd without good cause. Otherwise, you have to enter a plea open to the court. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. And thank you for dressing appropriately for court.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's go back to Judge Fleischer.
Mr. Roches, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. This case is 1,296 days old. We set cases for trial at 180 days, just to give you a little perspective. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. An officer is dispatched with private hazard and may contact a will witness, another HPD officer, who found the defendant asleep on the wheel, car turned on the public roadway. There was a bottle of Jose Cuervo in the defendant's pocket and an open bottle of beer in the vehicle. The defendant had bloodshot eyes, slurred speech, and the odor of an alcoholic beverage. The defendant admitted to drinking 5 beers before driving. Serious sobriety tests were conducted, and the defendant, lawful officer witness 6 out of 6 on the HGN, 4 out of 8 on the walk and turn, and 0 out of 4 on the one leg stand. The defendant consented to breath that came back at 0.116 and 0.122.
Mr. Roche, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. Can you run his NCIC, see what he's been up to and what kind of, if anything, criminal cases he has picked up?
Yes, Judge. Judge, I don't have any cases charged in between this state.
So you pull up NCIC, no new cases?
No new cases.
License?
He doesn't have one.
Mr. Roche, I want you to understand something, that I take the protection of my public the utmost serious. I don't care who you are. I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you're a small farm animal. You endanger my public. It's really not going to go well for you. You do not have a license. You are not allowed to drive. You will be signing an affidavit with me today. This is a promise you're going to make that you're not going to drive. If I find that you do, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. Do you understand? The worst possible thing you can do is drive in violation of this court order. I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, likewise, I will put you in jail. No more PR bonds. I don't know what your immigration status is, but if you're not in this country with permission, when you go to jail and immigration finds you, they will put a detainer on you and you will be stuck in custody until this case is over with. And then you get shipped off to immigration. On your ankle, I'm now going to put a GPS monitor so I know where you are at all times. You will get it on today. Due to the age of your case, I will give you 30 days for you and your lawyer to meet to discuss what you want to do. At the end of the 30 days, you must accept the plea bargain from the state, or we will set your case for trial. But you get no more time. And I'm going to advise you now that if you ever violate, or if you ever take off on us again, your bond will hit the clouds. Do you understand?
Yes.
You will pay for the monitor. And then, is Discovery, what do you have on Discovery?
Well, no, yeah. He's PTI eligible then.
Joe, this case is 1,300 days old. I'm not giving resets. If he's actually going to apply to try to get into the program, he's got to have everything done within the next 2 weeks. You know, I mean, 30 days is the absolute max for him to get everything done.
Yes, sir.
Like,
Schedule a T-Rat
just-
today.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They're denying more than I've ever seen before. And because he's absconded 4 years, I don't know how that's going to play into it. So I would probably.
I don't think we need a mitigation. It's gotta come directly from the DA. Because he's under, it was a .112, is that correct? And then asleep at the wheel.
I don't know. I'm just saying I've seen more denials now than I've ever seen. So before you do that and he has to shell out $300, I would apply first to see if they grant an entry. You know, discovery complete. Great. So if you can release everything so they have it today. Okay, Mr. Roche, we'll give you 30 days. Be ready. You must appear at the next setting. Thanks, Joe. Hey, Vic, who did you appoint to Arzola? He's got bond violation.
Yes, Judge Greg.
Who?
Greg.
Oh, Greg. Please don't send him down until we.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
All right, looks like it's going to go back to being slow time there. Let's go over to Judge Washington's court. If you look in the top right-hand corner, Mr. Brown is not only there for court, he's feeding his small child. It's good to multitask, I guess.
Court will call the case of the state of Michigan versus Megan Daniels, case number 25S001111. Hello. Woods, are you present? We have to wait for the prosecutor. It's Tiffany Woods.
Well, unfortunately, the most riveting part of this at the moment is the child being fed. It doesn't seem like anybody else is answering the judge's call. Let's go back to Judge Boyd.
The misdemeanor attorney, because they're trying to do I guess a global deal. So we're asking for a reset. In addition, Your Honor, I had filed previously we were here, there was a GPS violation hearing in which the court he was on partial GPS house arrest for work. Because the court had restricted him to house arrest. I filed a modification of that. I have my client and I have both provided his probation officer proof of his employment, and they verified that employment. So we're asking for the GPS conditions to be modified again to partial house arrest. Unfortunately, since the previous modification, he is really struggling financially, not able to work, and is close to losing his current living conditions.
So it's the court's understanding, and if I'm wrong, correct me, because usually I don't do full house arrest unless there's a reason for it. So I'm assuming there was a VR
Yes, Your Honor.
violation report, and he was violating GPS?
He was, Your Honor. I think the issue was at that hearing, the probation officer was unable to actually come and testify. So we couldn't really get into a lot of the violations at that point. But there were allegations that he did violate some of those good times, that he was supposed to be away from. It wasn't that he was getting close to the complainant, because there is no harmful and injurious contact. It was that some of the locations that he was going to were not related. Well, probation believed they were not related to work. It was actually him going to seek additional work at different barber shops.
Mhm. All right, you'll need to set that for a hearing, get a hearing date from Ms. Ferguson. This is coming back for a plea deadline date on May 19th. Ms. Ferguson, give them a reset for May 19th and then set their motion to modify bond condition as soon as possible. All right, thank you. Once you sign the reset form, you're excused. Who's here on Jose Romero?
Is it all right if he sits there, Judge? He's
Sure.
His competency issue.
All right, so where are we?
Yes, Judge. On Thursday, May 1st, in Magistrate Court, he was deemed incompetent by
Okay.
Judge Rodriguez. He was deemed eligible for outpatient competency restoration services with the Center for Healthcare Services.
Mhm.
They're gonna be picking him up on Wednesday and transferring him to a boarding house where he can also undergo that treatment with Center for Healthcare Services. We're requesting some time on this case, Judge, being that he's gonna be working that program to see about getting restored to competency. So we're just requesting a reset out for status on this one.
All right, we'll recall it for June 23rd.
Yes, Your Honor. And
And we'll just see where we are, and if you have information where he is, and if he hasn't regained competency, just come in before that date and we'll give another date.
Oh, great, Your Honor. Yes, really well. I appreciate that.
All right, thank you. Norma Jose Romero's June 23rd.
Let's head back over to Judge West.
Courtney Harris? Yes, ma'am. And will your client waive the formal reading of the indictment?
Yes, she will.
Ms. Harris, in cause number 21-37258, you're charged with the state jail felony offense of theft with prior theft convictions from March 8th of 2020. The indictment alleges you were previously convicted of theft December 7th of 1999, and then again September 10th of 2003. Looks like in two different cases on that date. And then June 18th of 2004. And September 19th of 2005. And how do you plead to that charge? And are those prior theft convictions true?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you enter your plea of guilty and true freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
And because you actually did what they've charged you with?
Yes, ma'am.
I have here on the computer some documents that have your signature on them that the state has marked as exhibit number 1. Before you signed these, did you go over them with Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Do you fully understand them?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand, if I follow the agreement that you've made with the district attorney, that you will be waiving or giving up any right to appeal?
Yes, ma'am.
And it looks like the agreement that you've reached is for a 2-year term in the state jail prison, but that would be probated. You'd be on probation for 5 years. You'd be ordered to pay a $500 fine and to follow all of the rules and conditions of probation. Is that your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you also understand, if you're not a U.S. citizen, that a plea of guilty or no contest may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization under federal law?
Yes, ma'am.
State tenders number 1.
No objection.
It's admitted. Is there any evidence that Ms. Harris is not competent?
None.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily, find that you're mentally competent and you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. What's the is there anything else that you can tell with regard to waiving the pre-sentence report, since it's a state jail felony? Anything that's not in this indictment? Can you take a look real quick, just if we can waive it, we will. I guess mainly also because of the age of this offense, I want to know if there's been any arrests since then.
There's a fire in this court in 2008 forgery. Location.
2008. You had a forgery, a probation for forgery? And did you successfully complete that? Okay. Other than that, have you had any other felonies? Okay. All right, so I'm going to find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time, I'm going to waive the pre-sentence report. I'm going to follow the agreement that you made with the district attorney, find you guilty of the offense of theft with prior theft convictions, sentence you in accordance with your agreement to a term of 2 years in the state jail prison, but I'm going to probate that. You're on probation for 5 years. You're ordered to pay that $500 fine and to follow all of the rules and conditions of probation. If you do that, then it means for all practical purposes, your case here in court is over and you'll be able to serve that 2-year sentence while you're out on probation. The other side of that, however, is if you violate any condition of probation, you can be brought back into court, found guilty of the offense, and sentenced to the state jail prison for that 2-year sentence that you've already agreed to. Do you understand? I'm going to hand you, just a second, the trial court certification that shows this was an agreement that I followed, so you've waived your right to appeal. I'm also handing you a written admonishment regarding your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. Because of the judgment entered against you, you're ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Possession of a firearm or ammunition could lead to charges against you. Firearm is a legal term, and you should read the written admonishment I provided you to see what devices qualify as a firearm. If you have questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or about how long that lasts, you can talk to Mr. Adams about that, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
You need to have a seat here in the courtroom and wait for probation. She's at that desk right over there. She's going to call you up when she's ready to go over your paperwork. So don't leave until you do that, okay? Good luck to you, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Let's head over to Judge McNally.
Those payments, you're not going to be evicted. You can stay in the property. Do you understand that?
Yes, I thought the first payment was the 16th of May.
16th of May.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. $700 by May 16th, balance by May the 30th. Do you understand and agree to that, Ms. Russell?
Yes, I do.
Since you're unrepresented by a lawyer, you have 3 business days to fill out a motion to set aside the judgment. You have 10 days to appeal. You understand that?
Yes.
And she has your permission to sign your name.
Yes, she does.
Any questions at all for me?
No.
Okay, ma'am, I wish you well. Good luck to you.
Thanks so
We'll
much.
send that judgment to you. Thank you very much. Hamptons versus Caitlin Rendon, 2501576. Ms. Rendon, your name?
Your Honor, I've not had the defendant check in.
All right, counsel, there was a second mailing. You can take a default.
Your Honor, request of possession only default judgment must retain $1,088, $180 of $70 for a subtotal of $1,118. Court cost of $176.54. Total judgment $1,294.54.
Defendant failed to appear. Default judgment entered in favor of plaintiff and against defendant. The writ date will be May the 15th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let's head back to Judge Boyd. The defendant who was in front of her briefly earlier is back.
All right, so you entered into a plea bargain agreement with the state on December 18th, 2018. According to the plea, you entered a plea of guilty. The state is recommending deferred adjudication. And according to the plea bargain agreement, the state is recommending 10 years deferred adjudication. They will dismiss 2 other cases. And it states here that they will adjust the recommended time of deferred adjudication to 8 years instead of 10 years of deferred adjudication if you spend 2 years without violating bond conditions. So that's the plea bargain agreement. Is that, yes?
Sorry to interrupt, but I believe that the way I read it, and I know it's a little confusing the way it's put down, I don't know who wrote that, but I think that the amount of time that she spent on bond for the case would be taken off of the 10 years. And then, for instance, if she did 2 years on bond, we would reduce it to 8.
Okay.
Right. So I believe in this case.
All right, somebody who did this plea bargain agreement, I know it wasn't you, but they didn't take or pay any attention to contracts and law
I had to
school.
read it a couple times myself.
All right, yes.
So, and I believe that I believe it's 8 years that she's spent on bond on this
Mhm.
particular case, Your Honor.
All right. So the court will hear whatever evidence either side wishes to present.
Well, the state's position with the actual plea bargain agreement that was entered back in 2018, that she's been on bond total, I believe, 8 years. So the state would be recommending 2 years deferred adjudication this time.
All right.
That's also what defense is requesting, Judge. She's performed under the contract. She provided truthful testimony in the trial of a cause that happened just a few weeks ago in a capital murder trial. She was available for sentencing as well if needed. For the reasons that she has performed under the contract, I just asked the court to continue following the plea bargain agreement. She's also executed a declaration under penalty of perjury that I've discussed with Mr. Garahan, that she is presently indigent for the purposes of fines, costs, and fees associated with probation, but principally, Judge, when she had the other case that was pending, and I believe everything has already been dismissed. There's nothing to be tested at this time. But in one of the cases that was pending, she had a GPS monitor, and Judge Contreras did not, I don't know why he didn't, but didn't waive the fees. And so she has a balance on this case. Whenever she reports to pretrial, there's a balance for GPS fees. I would just ask the court to waive the balance of the GPS fee.
All right, I can say waive balance of GPS fees, but if it's a third-party contract, I have no authority or the jurisdiction to force them to waive GPS fees.
Of course.
All right, anything else?
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, Joan, raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth? Oh, help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Joanna Murray Race.
All right, are you currently employed?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do?
I am a hairstylist and I work for Amazon.
All right. And how long have you been doing that?
For hairstylist, about 7 years. Amazon, I just started about 6 months ago.
All right, and do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
All right. So how are you supporting yourself?
By working in school.
All right. And the reason why I asked that is because your attorney said that you can't pay any fees. So do you live by yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And you say you're in school?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you studying?
I'm getting a cross Cosmo, so I can do barber, and I did just open my own salon in December, so it's just for the licensing and everything.
All right. And how old were you when this offense was committed?
I believe I was 19.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 6 years deferred adjudication. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular random UAs. Field visits 1 time per month for 6 months. Probation, is there any classes that she needs? All right, thank you. TAP evaluation, follow all recommendations. There should be 200 hours of community service restitution. Probation, is there anything else? All right. And of course, there's to be no contact with the co-defendants. All right, is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, ma'am, thank you.
All right. And if I didn't say it, 200 hours community service restitution. Is there anything else, defense? And did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we may need to change this because this documentation has changed.
Sure.
Yeah. Could you print them out a trial court certification on this case? No, no, no. It's just that this one is an old one from 2018. Yes. I want to say it's Jalen Bell and Tamar McIntyre. Is there any victim impact in this?
No.
All right, state, you may be excused. I'm just going to wait for this trial court certification. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, we can go off the record. To be successful on probation in this court, communication is key. If you have an issue, let probation know about it. If you feel as though they're not addressing it, you can always come back to the court. All right. And if you completed any type of educational courses where you obtained a certificate, just give it to probation and I'll consider waiving some of the community service hours. I just need to know what it is.
I never got my property out when I was incarcerated, but I did several classes when I was incarcerated with several certificates, so I'm not sure if I'm able to obtain them still.
All right. Yes. All right. So just speak with probation and then you'll be excused. Thank you.
ma'am.
And thank you for dressing appropriately for court.
Thank you so much.
Let's head back over to Judge Fleischer. He's got somebody in front of him now.
Checking on that, but on that would be judge.
It says here among the other allegations that he's
Right, and the other stuff was, I think it was a whole bunch of fees that he failed to pay, didn't show up for.
testing positive for meth, didn't do the BIP program, didn't do the DDRP program.
Judge, with this complaining witness, it was no threatening arrest.
Yeah, that was.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
With this complaining witness, it was no threatening arrest.
Okay. Mr. Sanchez, I'm gonna be straight. You scare me. You know, you scare me. And it scares me that the last thing I want is another death on our streets. And, you know, he's being held at no bond as it is now. So anything that we do would be, you know, I do think that a PR bond is wholly inappropriate. I'm not going to give him a PR bond. I will give you a bond reduction. I'll reduce it to 10,000. Roxanne, a GPS prior to release. Cut the cancer out, man. I'm telling you, it's going to kill you at some point. Really, just life is not worth sitting in a 6x9 box for the next 15 years where there's so much fun. I mean, the new Switch is coming out, man. I'm like, I need to play for, you know, but now, really, life's too short, man. Get it, Mr. Sanchez. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, you can sign.
Good morning, Your Honor. May I?
Hi, Mr. Bunker. Yeah, come on. How are you?
I'm doing well, Your Honor.
I'm here for Francisco Hernandez, on the jail docket.
Oh, so I'm sure. Thank you going. Do you mind bringing out Mr. Hernandez? Francisco Hernandez. Give me a second.
All right, well, we're waiting for them to get who they need. I opened the show with a special little animated type of thing that I did, and I said I would show it again for those who came in later. So I'm going to go ahead and show that now. It's only like 1:20. Take a look at it. At the end, let me know what you think of it in the chat, because if it's something that you guys like, I'll consider doing more of them. I can't do them every day, but we'll look at doing more if you like it. So here we go. So there you go. Let me know what you think in the chat. Again, if it's something that you like and you think I should do more of them, I'll look at doing more and perhaps starting a little bit of a series. Again, I can't do it every day because it takes a little while, but I'll do them from time to time. If you like it, just let me know.
Done. Thank you, Mr.
Let's head over to Judge Middleton. He's doing some sentencings, I believe.
Mr. Huff did his usual fine job of a screening report and make some recommendations, and I'm not sure what to do here, frankly. Ms. Harden, I understand that Matt will be here in just a moment. He's wrapping up his phone call, but we are starting a little early. What would you like me to know?
Thank you, Your Honor. As the court is aware, this is unfortunately kind of a string of a pattern of behaviors that we are seeing in our youth. I think the difference here is that Mr. Gonzalez-Zada is extremely aware of how bad this could have been and how his behaviors need to change. And I think Mr. Huff did a good job kind of recognizing that in his assessment that he's prepared. Prior to sentencing, my client did get involved in outpatient treatment at Pines Behavioral Health. That assessment was submitted to the court directly from the facility. He's engaged in services through them. I think Mr. Gonzalez-Zada is a good candidate for probation. He's remorseful for his actions, and he's ready to exercise change in a way that will ensure he will not be back before this court. I'd ask the court to consider imposing the term of probation that has been requested, but reserving on the remaining jail time. I know Mr. Huff's requesting weekends. However, my client is employed. He's actively engaged in treatment. And I think that just the the notion that this jail time is hanging over his head will be enough of a deterrent that he will continue on an appropriate path. So I would ask the court to consider deviating from the recommendation in the sense that any jail time be deferred, that he be placed on the probation, and all other terms recommended. Thank you.
Mr. Gabriel, what's your thought here?
Yeah, I would almost agree with Ms. Harden, with the exception of the fact that this is not his first time drinking and driving. As the court's well aware from the incident reports, one man could have been killed when he crossed the center line and crashed into his car. Then he left and he went and crashed into another place where he was then caught. Blood alcohol was 0.16, or that was the PBT. But he's definitely well over the legal limit. And
hate to cut in, but Barbara, thank you for the $5. That's very kind of you. Thanks you to everybody for the feedback. If you like it, which it seems like you do, I'll look at doing more like that. We like to have fun here when we can. Barbara, got to go. I understand. Have a great day. And again, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate that.
Probation. And I understand that this court does a lot of jail, but then deferring it. This is a crime that's punishable by up to 93 days in jail, thanks to the offer that was made. And I just think that probation, sure, but also a period of jail. And you just give him what you would give him. And then if he screws up on probation, he's still got more time to do. But I do think that this type of behavior on this occasion twice with a prior means we do have to put some of the emphasis on punishment in order to deter other young men from doing this. So combination of jail and probation, I think, would be appropriate.
Thank you. As Mr. Huff says, this case is about as aggravated as they come. The defendant was last convicted of operating while impaired in early 2024. Not even 1 year later, he was cited for this offense. Several things concern me about this whole thing. It should be noted that the defendant is not yet 21 years old. Any use of intoxicant is classified as substance abuse. When I talked to him about the frequency of his alcohol consumption, he estimated his use to be approximately 3 times per year. I don't believe that. He also smokes marijuana, and he purchased 5 blunts, and you're not old enough to smoke marijuana. And the likelihood that in addition to this alcohol, you had marijuana in your system. You drank some shots of something and 4 Locos. People don't drink 4 Locos because they like the taste. They drink them to get drunk. And you were gonna drive. It's like you didn't learn a thing from the earlier drunk driving conviction. Friday, December 20th, it's Christmas season. And you worked all day and you're drinking shots of something and 4 Locos. They found a 4 Loco in your car without any thought about just driving. You were taking the back roads. I don't know if you were going from Sturgis back to Bronson, but the reason people often take the back roads is because they've been drinking. You're going east on Fawn River Road toward Branch County. I'll just read it the way it's written here. He drifted into the oncoming lane as a vehicle approached. He attempted to maneuver his vehicle back into the appropriate lane. In the process, the tail end of his truck struck the side of an oncoming passenger car. He continued eastbound on Fawn River Road for 1.9 miles. It should be noted that his passenger side wheel was found at the scene of the accident. You drove for 2 miles farther down the road on 3 wheels. Then you almost crashed into a house. The road wasn't slippery. You were drunk and you had 3 wheels and you almost hit this house, instead hit a tree. So this was a 2010 Chevy pickup, probably pretty solid. Probably didn't have an airbag. Did it have an airbag?
It didn't.
Did it go off? I don't know what happened to the people in the other car. I don't know if that was the report. I couldn't tell from what I was looking at, but apparently there was no serious or aggravated injury. And Ms. Harden indicated, and Mr. Gabriel's seen these for years, but we've had a recent rash of young men driving terribly intoxicated with accidents where fortunately the Lord must be looking out for St. Joe County, because any one or all of these could have been fatal accidents, including this one. These other people and one guy pulled a U-turn and hit a car full of people, and he had 4 people in his own car. The other guy had a bong between his legs and he crashed into a tree and got pinned in the car. His passenger called 911 from being squished inside this car. None of those people, as far as I could tell, received any serious or aggravated injuries or died. So the judge you went in front of in Branch County the first time was Judge Weigel. If you were in front of Judge Weigel right now, you would be losing the next 3 months of your life. He would give you 93 days in jail. I'm fairly confident of that. Maybe we have a different view of things over here, but this still is a cause for considerable concern. You're too young to go into sobriety court. You're not ready to make the changes that you need to make. You're going to lose your driver's license. It's going to be revoked. You're not even 21 and you're going to have a revoked driver's license, which means it might take as long as 5 years to get it back. And even then, you're going to have to show sobriety. Mr. Huff has ordered the last guy, he just went right from the courtroom to jail. I wanted to get his attention. What do your parents think about this?
My parents are they're very disappointed, but they still help me throughout all of this. And my mother, she's blind, she cannot see. So she can only mentally feel everything. And she is just as ashamed herself as she is for me. She knows that I messed up again and I didn't learn. My father is a very good person. He's a person who does not indulge in any of that. He's a very good role model, and I still failed to meet that. And he's also disappointed, but he still helps me throughout.
Well, they're all glad they didn't go to your funeral. I don't know where you thought you were going to go with a 3-wheeled truck, but maybe it's just as well you hit a tree, because I don't think that has a happy ending if you just keep on going down the road. Mr. Huff, again, you do another one of these tough assignments. And you've made a recommendation. You wish to add anything?
I would like to speak on this. If you read the report, it might sound like I'm the defense attorney, because the case facts are just so bad. They don't get much worse. And I think the court's heard me say that recently. I've had at least 3 cases of 2 under 20 is what I like to call them. 2 drunk drivings under 20 years old, or at 20 years old, under 21 at the bare minimum. So yeah, there's a bad rash of these. Typically, I was a hair away from just making a recommendation for 90 days in jail. We had difficulty getting a hold of Mr. Gonzalez Lozada. And fortunately, his attorney got in touch with him. He reached back out to me. We snuck in this screening at the last second. I was happy that we actually got to meet, because in comparing this case to the other cases that I've had, he shows about 10 times more remorse. I don't think he's ready for a sobriety court. I don't think he quite gets it to that degree due to his age. I don't think it's anything of his own fault, so to speak, but he spent 10 minutes on the phone talking to me about how sorry he is. And that's something that is almost always lacking in these sort of situations. So that's why my recommendation is significantly lighter. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The police report indicates there was no one hurt. There's a small claims case that was essentially having a debt that Mr. Gonzalez Lozada owed. So he's working on paying that back. He lives in Branch County, not going to have a driver's license. So again, another hurdle that has to be cleared, but I talked to him specifically and pressed, how are you going to make it back and forth the requirements if the judge grants a probation? And he said, I have a ride to and from work. It's my dad, my aunt. They both work in Angola. Between those two, I can rely on them. I know that we have testing that we can utilize in cold water to make sure. So this is something that I'm willing to go out on a ledge and make a recommendation for probation, despite how difficult it may be, because that's how we can impact the change potentially. It's up to Mr. Gonzalez Lozada if he wants to change his life, if he wants to do things differently from now on. But I do believe that he had a come to Jesus moment when he got into that accident. And I think that he gets it to the degree that he can. So instead of a recommendation with just pure jail, I did recommend some community work service to essentially mitigate how much jail he's serving. But jail's appropriate. You can't be getting your second drunk driving at the age of 20, twice the legal limit, crashing into somebody, and then ultimately into some trees, and there not be some sort of a consequence. So I would ask, he's employed. He has a good job down there, auto form in Angola. So I would recommend that if you do impose jail, that we serve it on weekends, and that he just essentially serve the weekends right away, that we can get those done and over with. But that's my recommendation.
Well, I'm going to follow it. No two cases are ever exactly alike. The guidelines call for 20 to 25% of the maximum. I'm going to order 12 months probation, 30 days jail credit 1, leaving 29 days to serve. Of the 29 days ordered, 25 are deferred. So there's 4 days to do on weekends, which will be scheduled by the probation department. There's a $300 fine and costs, $75 crime victims' rights fee, $50 state minimum fee, a $100 screening fee, $150 attorney fee. This is an expensive proposition. Probation oversight fee is $480. Police reimbursement of $255. An accident with a blood draw, St. Joe County Sheriff's Department. You didn't order the victim impact panel?
He's already completed it, Your Honor. He's also engaged in substance abuse services.
All right, we'll continue with substance abuse counseling and treatment. 24 hours community service work. Mr. Gabriel made a point. I can give you what I give you, and if you don't do it, then I can give you 90 days in jail, I guess. So the hope is that you will comply with this. Abstain from the use of alcohol and controlled substances, including marijuana. Are you 21 now?
No, Your Honor.
So you're not old enough to smoke marijuana anyway. And while you're on this probation, you're going to be off anything unless it's prescribed. 24 hours of community work service. Let's add those fines and costs up. Sign a release. so we can talk to your treatment provider. 300 plus 125 in state costs plus $100 screening fee, 150 attorney fee, 480 probation oversight fee, and 255 police reimbursement is 1,410. Theoretically, you could be done with this probation in 6 months. I'm thinking this may take all 12, but we'll see.
I'll do my best to meet the requirements.
All my hope is that you don't get in any more trouble. Also, no driving.
I've learned my lesson now.
One guy that went to jail last week, he got a drunk driving in, let's say, January. He drove a car in February with a suspended license. He drove a car in March, he drove 2 more times suspended after he got arrested for drunk driving. You had a valid license. You got it impaired the first time around. You completed that sentence, and you had either a restricted license or did he have a restricted?
Should have had it fully reinstated by that point. I'm not sure if he actually
I
had
looked at it.
done that or not, but it was 9 months after his conviction it was entered, so.
I think it was.
It was restricted, John. I didn't read it.
It was what?
It was restricted.
Yeah. So the restrictions did not include driving drunk without it on the way to or from work. So this also violated your, you had a valid license, but it was restricted. So you weren't supposed to be driving anyway. So just bad. You weren't supposed to be driving. You're drunk. Your plan was to get drunk and drive home, which was a bad plan right from the start. Sometimes people's plan is, well, I was going to drink and my friend was going to drive home, and they left with somebody else and I got stuck there. Or I went to sleep and I woke up and I thought I was safe to drive home. Your plan was to get drunk and drive home, and you weren't supposed to be driving anyway. So this could result in a significant jail sentence if the probation isn't completed. I'm not going to order restitution, but I am going to order you to pay your small claims case.
Your Honor, just to apprise the court, for that small claims case, I believe victim's mother she contacted my office Friday after hours to indicate that she had hoped to write a letter on behalf of my client just to say he is complying with those payments. So I don't think that will be an issue.
All right, I don't think it will be either.
Thank you.
But I want to make sure that they get compensated. All right, I want you to go with Mr. Huff. You're going to start your probation. You're only 20. Yeah, things can get a whole lot better from here, but I sure don't want to read your obituary for hitting a tree. I had a guy, I'm not going to mention his name, who successfully completed sobriety court. And he was driving his car too fast down Fawn River Road at a .16, and he hit a tree, and I got to read about his obituary. I got dozens of stories like that. I just soon you not do that. All right, sir, you're good to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Adamichi, am I pronouncing that right? You asked, can you distribute time however you like? No. Weekend jail is something that's done at the judge's discretion. It's usually done in an effort to help you preserve your employment. And not every jail accepts it. Honestly, St. Joe County for a long time wasn't accepting it because they didn't have the staffing and they were remodeling the jail. So it's very hit and miss as to whether or not that's even something that can be done. The more likely thing that happens is a judge will work with you on when you need to report for your jail sentence. Like they might give you a couple of weeks to get things in order or stuff like that. That's more common, honestly, than the weekend stuff, but hopefully that clears it up for you. Let's go back to Judge West.
And if y'all can just sign that, and if you'll make sure and email the attachment to the clerk this afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Do you copy?
Let's see, and we're going. And we're going on the priors, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me,
Actually, Judge, it was indicted in a state jail with priors. However, I've also filed a notice of enhancement alleging additional offenses that I believe gets it to a second degree. So in other words, it was indicted as a state jail felony enhanced to a third degree, and I filed a notice to enhance that further to a second degree.
all right, I'm printing out something so I can do. Make sure I go through, okay. And will he waive the formal reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. And sir, you're Leroy Smith Jr. And Mr. Smith, in cause number 25 DCCR 0052, you're charged with the state jail felony offense of criminal mischief from September 4th of 2023. The indictment alleges that you were previously convicted of the state jail felony offense of delivery of a controlled substance, September 18th of 1995. And after that was final, you were convicted of delivery of a controlled substance, state jail felony, 2 cases on January 16th of 2001. The state has also filed notice of intent to use prior convictions to enhance punishment. It alleges that you were also previously convicted of possession with intent to distribute crack cocaine and/or distribution of more than 5 grams but less than 50 grams of cocaine in the Eastern District of Texas on August 6th of 2002, and that on February 2nd of 1993, you were convicted in 3 cases, well, 2 cases of burglary of a building, which at that time was a third-degree felony, I believe.
Not sure, Judge.
Anyway, and then after that was final, well, we need to know.
I've got the process, Judge.
And then burglary of a vehicle also on that date. Need to know what those levels
The
are.
burglary of a building, at that time, Judge, was, look at the judgment from February 2nd of 1993, was a second degree.
Second degree felony. And so to the charge in the indictment.
Oh, for the record, that
Yes, sir.
burglary of a vehicle was a third degree.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. And so to the charge of criminal mischief, how do you plead? And are all of those prior offenses true? Speak up, please. And are you entering your plea of guilty and true freely and voluntarily? And because you did what they've charged you with? I have here on the computer some documents that have your signature on them that the state has marked as exhibit number 1. Before you signed these, did you go over them with Mr. Jackson? Do you fully understand them? And do you understand, so it looks like there's no agreement, is that correct? Or is there a cap?
There is no cap, there is no agreement.
So it looks like you are just pleading open to the court. These papers show that your attorney is asking on your behalf for a deferred probation. Mr. Coleman has requested an 8-year term in TDC. But if we go forward this way, you're leaving your punishment up to me. And I want to make sure you understand you have an absolute right to have a jury come in and determine 2 things. The first would be to determine if you're guilty or not, and then you could leave your punishment up to that jury. If we go forward this way, you're waiving that right, and is that what you want to do? I do want to make sure you understand that I can do anything in the full range of punishment, which because of those prior offenses is between 2 years and up to 20 years in prison. Do you understand? Also, do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that a plea of guilty or no contest may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization under federal law? State tenders number 1. Mr. Jackson?
No objections.
It's admitted. Is there any evidence that Mr. Smith is not competent?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir, I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily, find that you are mentally competent and you understand the nature and the consequences of this plea, find sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, I'm going to reset your case for sentencing so that the probation department can do a pre-sentence report. It'll give me more information about you, your cases, and then we'll come back later for sentencing. Anything that you think is important for me to know, be sure and talk to Mr. Jackson about that, and he will present it to me on your behalf when we come back. You need to stop and talk to probation on your way out of the courtroom today, and she's sitting at that desk right there. All right? We'll see you back at sentencing. Thank you.
Judge.
And make sure you get that document emailed over for the discovery.
Okay, let's head over to Judge Boyd.
All right. Where is he?
I think he's in custody.
All right. Are there applications on these cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
The other states opposed.
All right, probation, these are applications, state is opposed. All right, Mr. Morales, come on down. Court is calling 2025 CR 0022681 and 2025 002683, State versus Daniel Morales. Can I have parties announce?
Rick Pena for the state of Texas.
Attorney Bill Simmons for defense.
And are you Mr. Morales?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right, and each of the cause numbers, did you review the documents entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication? With your attorney, did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, in each of the cause numbers, have you received all of the discovery in each case and reviewed it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
And each case, will find that the state is in compliance with discovery? Mr. Morales, in each cause number, did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented in each cause number?
No, Your Honor, but the defendant already entered a plea to this. We're here for his PSI today.
Oh,
Yes, Your Honor. Sentencing only, Judge.
okay, thank you. You have me going through all of this.
I'm
You
sorry.
know, stop.
Stopped too soon.
Bashan, in the words of Representative Lewis, speak up, speak out. All right. To both of them. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 5 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. Cases will run concurrently. State is taking in consideration 2025 CR 002680. There's an affirmative finding of family violence and no contact with the complainant. Are there any witnesses from either side?
None from the state.
We have 3, Your Honor, but they'll be brief.
All right, call your first witness.
At this time, I'd like to call Mrs. Mercedes Morales.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record. All right. Defense, you may proceed.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Morales. Thank you for being here. How do you know Daniel Morales, the defendant in this case?
He's my grandson.
And how long have you been on?
Oh, his life.
And in terms of Mr. Morales, just if you could give the court a brief synopsis of his upbringings and some of the challenges that he has had bring him to that he's had in his past.
Well, to begin with, Daniel, I adopted my grandchildren. And I
Can we
raised
speak
them.
up just a little bit?
I raised my grandchildren, I adopted them, and I did the best that I could. And they, they're good kids, they make mistakes, but, I'm there with them and, you know, Daniel, because of what they were going through when they were younger, and, you know, they had no issues. But, I did get help for them when they were young, and, when they went to school. He didn't get to graduate because he ended up having a child, but other than that, you know, I can say that he tries really hard. When he does work, he does work, he's a good worker. He does, help out a lot at home. He helps his children with his little boy. And, I know that he needs to be there for his son.
Well, you mentioned some of the issues that he had when he was younger, without giving again a whole synopsis, but what are some of the things that you think would stand out? Well, actually, let me back up. Would you say one of the issues is that his mother wasn't there?
Yeah, she wasn't there.
And not to put, because I met her, she's also recovering, is that correct?
Yes.
And, but her not being there, what impact do you think that had on her?
It was really hard, the effect that she made.
Okay. And do you think there may have been some anger kind of associated with that?
I think so, yes.
Okay. And, but overall, you say that but when he does work, he is working, he's working when I first met him.
Yes, when he works, he's a good worker.
And would you say that an issue for him tend to arise when there isn't a lack of structure in his life?
Yes, sometimes, you know, just depending on like who he belongs.
And following up on what you're saying with the things, people that he's surrounded by. You had also mentioned that you had adopted you also adopted his brother Ignacio, is that correct?
That's correct.
Is there any particular program that Ignacio, you've seen him interact with over the last year, that's had a significant impact in his life?
Yes, there's a program through the San Antonio Christian Church that he's been in. He's been doing really good in that program. And I'm hoping that, you know, that Daniel would.
Well, we'll get to that part. Right now, I want to focus on, again, you have another, it's Ignacio, who would be his older brother.
Yes, he's his older brother.
And my understanding, my conversation with Ignacio, he's been in that program about 9 months at this point.
That's correct.
So now I want to take your attention back to about 10 months ago. Would you say that the Ignacio you see today is not the Ignacio that existed 10 months ago?
No, he did a whole turnaround and he is like, you know, he's very good. I mean, he's a good kid. All the way around.
And like you were saying, they were good kids, but they had some issues that they dealt with coming up.
Yes, they
But
did.
but specifically, again, you're saying he's different, because what I'm noticing in
Yes.
your demeanor,
Yes,
of course,
he's
is
very
that you're
different.
somewhat shocked
Yes, very shocked.
that the transformation,
Yes.
that under the leadership of Pastor Fabian
Mhm.
at this actual program, or
Yes.
that it's had in his life.
Yeah, it had a great effect on his life and he, you know, he's doing really, really good. And I'm very proud of the way that he is doing. He's so different, you know, I mean, I'm still trying to like, wow, you know, because it has done a great impact on him. And it's done good.
In your conversations with Daniel, have you sensed, but you've sensed a lot of quote unquote remorse, not just for what he's done to others, but also what he's done to you and to the people who care about them. And that, have you sensed that remorse?
Yes, Daniel, you know, when he does gets upset or whatever, he's very quick to forgive. He's very, right away, he, you know, asks for forgiveness and he's very sorry for whatever reason. But he's a very forgiving.
But you'd agree that his program for his life has not worked for him at this stage or at this point because he's standing here in an orange jumpsuit.
Yes,
So you'd agree that we need some new programming.
yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to the judge today?
I would just, like to say that I, take into consideration and, give him a second chance, and I know that he will do better. They're my only grandchildren, I have great grandchildren too, but, Daniel, like I said, he's very forgiving and he's willing, I know that he's willing to do whatever it takes for him to do a turnaround, just like his brothers.
All right,
I'll pass it with you.
any questions?
Just a few questions, ma'am. You mentioned that you're Daniel's grandmother, correct?
Yes.
So you adopted him?
Yes,
And was he living with you most of his life?
one for his life, yes. All of his
Was he living with you last year?
life. Yes.
Was he living with you this year?
Yes, he has been staying with me on and off.
How has his behavior been while he's been in the home with you?
His behavior has been, like I said, sometimes he'd get upset, but right away, like I said, he realizes when he does something wrong, so he apologizes. He understands.
So has he shown remorse towards you for any type of anger issues he may have had?
No,
No remorse?
I
Okay.
mean, he's been there, he understands, and he doesn't get like angry, he just, he realizes if I ask him to do something or, or he forgot because he's always, sometimes he would forget, but other than that, he's, he shows, yes, Grandma, I'm really deeply sorry, so.
Has he ever been violent towards you?
No.
Ever been violent toward anyone in the family that you've witnessed?
No, Debbie, he's been arguing with, his girlfriend on and off, but just arguing.
Have you witnessed any physical behavior on his behalf?
No.
Okay. Has his mother ever been in his life?
She just recently came back into his life a couple of years.
Okay, so for the most part of his life, was he without his mother?
No, he talks to her, he's giving her a chance to.
So his mother has been in his life up till now, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right, no further questions. I'll pass it.
Any further questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you so much for giving me some insight.
Thank you, have a nice day.
Oh, thank you. I'll call your next witness.
This time if I could call Ignacio Morales.
All right, if you could raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Ignacio Morales Jr.
All right, you may proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Morales. We spoke briefly, but how do you know the defendant?
He is my brother.
Okay. And would you say that y'all have had a close relationship?
Yes, sir.
Would you say that there's been times where in the minds of you and Daniel, pretty much the only people you really had were you, because you were brothers? Would you say that your upbringing was a bit tough?
Yes.
But would you say that that upbringing was an excuse for any type of violent behavior whatsoever on behalf of you, your brother, or anyone else who was raised in similar circumstances?
Well, there are effects in something like that. The things that me and my brother went through were together, and it might have affected the way we've gotten along when we were younger. Other than that, we love each other.
But you'd agree that regardless of anything y'all gone through in your past, and we're gonna talk about the program that you're currently in and its potential impact on your opinions here, okay? But you'd agree that nothing that you've dealt with in your past would justify any violence towards any other human beings on planet Earth at any time.
I'm not sure about that question.
Okay. What I'm saying is do you feel that let's just start this specific to you, right? Under what circumstances do you feel that violence is the proper response to verbal provocations?
No.
Any situation you can think of it?
No.
Okay. Now, you're currently in a program here in Bear County, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What's the name of that program?
It's called DSM, Discipleship School of Ministry.
Okay, where's it located?
6131 Days of Honor.
How long have you been involved in that particular program?
About 9 months now, going on 10.
If you could give a brief description of the young man who entered that program about 10 months ago. So in other words, I'm talking about who were you when you walked through those doors? If you were going to describe that person in bullet points, no more than 3, how would you describe that individual?
More than 3.
No more than 3.
I was a drug addict. I was addicted to pornography. I had anger problems.
Okay,
and,
so drug addict, pornography, anger problems.
Yes, sir.
That's 10 months ago.
Yes, sir.
Today, would you say that you're still struggling with those issues at the level you were 10 months ago?
No, I don't get like urges to watch anything anymore. But because of I'm also in recovery, so I'm still recovering with all the things that I've watched on drugs, you know. But from that time period, I have lots of healing. So I don't have any drug cravings. I'm a recovery meth addict. I used to smoke weed. But I've been clean for about 9 months now, going on 10. I haven't had any cravings for almost five months, which is pretty crazy. Because that drug is very hard to not have cravings, if that makes sense.
No, let me, and not to just because we're kind of credit Dr. Solomon, but we talked about this before, so. But you had mentioned one of them was anger.
Yes.
Let me back up. This program happens to be a faith-based program. Would that be accurate?
Yes.
And I asked you a question back there, remember? I had never met you, right? And the question I asked you was, what is a particular, anything you've learned over there as it relates to dealing with quote unquote anger? And you had mentioned a verse in the book of James. You recall that?
Yes.
What verse was that in James that you brought up?
I don't exactly remember the exact where it's at, but I can kind of paraphrase it.
That's how most of us are. Most of us
Yeah.
can't remember them specific. Just
Talks about being slow to anger, slow to wrath, slow to speak.
And so, would you say that those are the type of impacts that are assisting you with any anger that you may have had from your past?
Yes.
Now, I want you to just briefly, as a person who's actually in this program, okay, describe the environment in terms of the people that are there.
So the environment, you're around people who have like a similar background, but it's all like love welcoming. And it's a big transition, but it's all with love and peace. Transitioning to roles, for example, leaders, you have squad leaders, storm leaders, kitchen coordinator, all these things that you have to learn how to submit to. But coming from a background of a recovery addict, all of these things, and just falling in. So a lot of people that come in, some of them are not used to having rules, or staying at other people's houses and not submitting to their rules. So when you come in, it's learning how to have discipline again, self-control, receive correction and rebuke, things like that. waking up early, hygiene. A lot of people are not used to submitting to taking care of their bodies and themselves and loving themselves. So learning how to read, if you don't already know those things, but hygiene, self-control, lots of healing. So not only was I detoxing from drugs, but I was also detoxing from relationships, people.
And I want to stay focused on the relationships and the people. You mentioned two interesting words, and that was how to deal with correction and rebuke.
Yes.
And would you agree that in your past, you and your brother, based on, I mean, basically being abandoned by your mother to a certain degree, we're not getting on her, I've met her, she's a great lady. Grandma had to raise you, correct? But you dealt with a lot of correction and rebuke prior to this program. You just dealt with it the wrong way. Would that be correct? Would you also acknowledge that correction and rebuke of certain behaviors are necessary for you to be able to stand here today? The meek, mild, and young man with the phenomenal future that you are.
I believe so.
Do you think that a similar programming would assist your brother, given how well you know your brothers?
I don't know any other programs, but I do know the faith-based based program.
Well, I'm just saying this one specifically, the one that we're talking about.
Yes, I believe it would help. And the brothers that I've met, compared to their backgrounds, their testimony is like on seeing their transformation as well, not only as mine, as really like opened my eyes too, you know what I mean? And it showed me that I'm not alone. You know, I might not be the worst person, but I also consider myself that I was the worst person, you know? So I've seen the things that it's done. So
Let me ask you
think-
this, one more question. When I had spoken to you earlier, you had made mention of the fact that you felt that the program some kind of a way was calling you, even in the midst of a serious drug addiction. Just a story, you felt like it was calling you to a moment.
Yes,
Let me ask you this. Do you think that this is one of those moments that it called you to?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, state.
Just a few questions. Mr. Morales, you said that the defendant is your brother, correct? Yes, sir. Have you lived with them? Have you lived with them for most of your life? When's the last time you lived with them?
Last time I lived with him, maybe like a year or two ago, go back and forth.
How has his behavior been as of the last time that you lived together? Towards you and anyone else that was there, the residents?
Well, if I can sum it up, we're brothers, you know, so a brotherly relationship. He'll tell me things what he's going through and ask for advice, and we could relate to, you know, relationship troubles.
Let me ask you this to kind of help you out. Do you feel like you have a good relationship with your brother?
Yes.
You love your brother?
Yes.
Has he ever been violent towards you?
Well, just, you know, he's one of the closest people to me, if that makes sense. So yes, we have had fought before, you know, but
Do you feel he has an anger control issue
towards me.
or in general?
He might, I used to have one.
All right.
I believe he does.
Do you support your brother?
Yes, sir.
You feel like your grandmother supports your brother?
Yes, sir.
This program that you mentioned, who monitors this program that you're in?
That would be my pastor, and we also have like home directors and other leaders, but mainly Pastor Fabian.
Okay, so Pastor Fabian, he's the one who monitors the program. I know you testified that you're going on your 10th month on this program, because you've been clean at the time, so congratulations with that. But overall, how long is the program?
So phase one Usually that's, I think that's about 6 months that you would stay in phase one. So you're not allowed to leave like the property. There's no substance drinking, none of that's allowed. There is rules until there has to be like a behavior change. There has to be some type of progress. There has to be some kind of change, you know, and before you even come in, you have to have a desire to change and a desire to submit under the program and the rules.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is if you go into this program, how long are you gonna be in this program?
So that all depends, depending on the person's condition. So usually the phase one from 9 or 6 months. Phase two, you're allowed to, you're still under rules, still under leaders, but you're allowed to start working.
How many phases are there?
There's 1 and 2.
Does this program that you're going through have any way to deal with anger issues?
I believe so.
Does it have any way to control violent tendencies? To deal with those in the program?
I think so.
Okay. I'll pass the word, Sean.
All right, any further questions?
Just one, Judge. Following up on, do you agree? There's a flyer for the program. One of it says who we are, and it says who we are not. Which, and under it saying that who we are, it says that we are a family. Would you agree with that?
Yes, yes,
Would you agree that it also says we are a school? Would you agree with that?
yes, sir.
It says that we are a new start. Would
Yes,
you agree with that?
for sure.
Is that what it has been?
Yes,
And when it says what we are not, it says we are not a homeless shelter. So it's not just a place for people to go run and get a roof. That's
Yeah.
correct.
correct.
We are not a halfway house. It's not a place for people that are halfway in and halfway out. You actually need to be in. Would you agree with that? And would you agree that it is not a rehabilitation home?
The word rehabilitation?
From the perspective of it's not a detox, it's a fully contextualized new beginning with the quote unquote faith-based.
Yes, I believe so.
Faith-based perspective. Would you agree with those things? And in terms of your new start, do you feel like you've had a new start in life?
I believe so.
And do you believe that new start would be helpful for probably the closest person to you in your life, your younger brother?
Knowing my brother, I believe that it would, because how close I am with him.
Thank you. Nothing further.
All right, thank you. I'll call your next witness.
Oh, yes, sure. At this time, I'd like to call Pastor Fabian. Pastor Fabian and Barbara, I'm sorry.
Could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Fabian Ibarra.
All right, defense, you may proceed.
Pastor, thank you for being here this morning. When I spoke with you in the back, I asked you a question. I told you I was gonna go talk to Daniel. Real briefly before we came up here. Remember that?
Yes.
And I said, if there's one thing that you think I should communicate to him, what was that? Right?
Oh.
You remind, okay, and what was your response to that question?
Yes, please forgive me, I know it's not a laughing matter, it's just, but I also, well, not this year particularly, because we were experiencing a lot of changes and transition in our nonprofit. But there's a faith-based storm. The TDCJ has a faith-based storm. It's a 6-month faith-based program that has structure. There's a wake-up time, there's class time. We with Chaplain Sherman there, Chaplain Bugsby, we've covered everything from anger management, strategies for recovery, relapse prevention, biblical studies, hermeneutics, homiletics, 12-step process group. So my response to you was, there's a 6-month faith-based storm in GDCJ, or the same structure on the faith-based storm that we have it here with the DSM. The whole purpose of the DSM is to prevent people from being incarcerated and having to have that sentence weight on them. So that was my response.
So in communicating to the court, the gist of what you had to say was, if the court were to give him that opportunity, he can either do this there's a faith-based dorm in jail, and there's a faith-based dorm up the street from me. I live in the same zip code. Okay, at the DSM, which is this Christian-based ministry. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, just in terms of, we've broken up some of that, that program there, but would you be willing to, if the court were to actually make a condition of his probation being enrollment in this program and successfully completing it? Is that something you'd be willing to accept?
I strongly motion that. He's lacking a father, he's lacking structure, he's lacking to be literally part of a family, and he's lacking competencies in learning how to respond to anger instead of react to anger. And so I would be willing, if the court would grant me permission, take him in. I don't know if I'd be able to adopt him, but I'd be able to confront him and love him and provide for him, protect him, and teach him principles and core values that we teach and prescribe there at the program.
And the emotion that I'm sensing in you is just the fact that bottom line is that, this probably better than me, but I'm a defense attorney. There's these programs all over the place. Some of them work, some of them don't. Okay. It's not my opinion, but it's the community's opinion that this is one that's working.
It's proven results. Everett Hunter came in, 20-year heroin addiction. He's married, works full-time at Oak Hills Church. The students who go to our phase 2 program, they get hired from like Oak Hills Church, other ministries. I have one that came in 2019. His name is Gregory Setmore. He 2019 hardcore drug addict, hardcore gang member. And here we are, 2025. He's going to start his 3rd year after this semester of seminary. And he is the board chair at the ministry, and he was just ordained as a pastor. So there's a lot of transformation. I can go on and talk to you about the fruit of the program. But yes, I believe there's transformation that can take place. The individual has to have and maintain a desire to change, because once he loses that desire to change, there's nothing we can do to actually do that. He'd have to want to engage, maintain the desire to change, have to have and maintain a willingness to surrender, and the blessing from a group of people. He has to have a support system.
And and there's nothing wrong with, obviously, seminary or anything like that, but I mean, but you've also have success stories for people in secular jobs.
Sure.
That are doing things outside of the ministry.
And the other things too, I recommend if he does get mandated by the courts there, that's going to be mandatory his term to get a GED. And then we have a cohort with the Goodwill for job training, and so he needs to pick up a trade, he needs to learn a trade, and all that stuff can be done there in the program, I believe.
Now, it also says you have to, but I want to just look at the schedule real quick, like for stage 1, right? So in the morning, they have to be up at 7 a.m., correct?
6:45.
6:45, I'm
Yes.
sorry. And if let's say one day he rolls out the bed and you say he needs to be up at 6:45 a.m. and he looks at you and says, I'll see you at 9 a.m. What happens?
There's reprimands, there's disciplinary action. We're not gonna scream I'm not gonna scream at him, I'm not gonna yell at him. There's reprimands. We have things, we just covered this last month at our board of directors meeting. There's the rock pile. You wanna throw rocks, okay, you wanna dig holes, there's all that good stuff. But yeah, so for the tough, we can be tough. For the gentle, we can be gentle. We can become all things to everybody for the sake of winning them over. But yeah, there's a regimen that we follow.
Would he be allowed to leave the campus?
No, not on phase 1. Phase 1, you're not allowed to leave the premises. There's on-campus visits on Sundays. Phone use is permitted. There's no cell phones. There's no baby mama visits. There's none of that stuff. It's all supervised. On Sundays, there's on-campus visits between 1 and 5. Yeah, between 1 and 5 or 2 and 6.
Now, without giving just a full synopsis, but we had talked about this. We said you helped over 100 people. But what would you say is just one of the things that you're able to facilitate as it relates to an enhanced ability to deal with anger?
Dr. Christian Conte, he's one of the ones that covers anger management. Anger management is covered. We have a licensed counselor that comes in once a week to meet with the students. And we also have a 12-step recovery it's covered. Some of our board of directors, like Dr. Jeffrey Buck, he does celebrity care. So if you have to be under a doctor's care,
And when you say celebrity care, what do you mean by celebrity care?
It's a separate, that's his own personal practice. But he has the licensing to be able to cover, like if he needs to be on the Center for Healthcare Services, or if he still needs to be on certain medications that he's currently on, he would be under a doctor's care that sits on our board of directors.
What else at this moment do you think the judge would need to hear? And I would ask without objection from the other side. They do have some materials. I don't know if the court wants to review those. This is just from the program. These are the schedule I was just going over is in there. Brief overview of it.
If your honor wants to review it, oh, no, this might.
I'm just asking what the court would like to look at.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Well, is there anything else that you think the judge would need to hear? Well, let me back up. So you would be willing if she mandated it, actually you welcome it?
Yes, the last thing I'd like to say is that, yeah, welcome it. He needs to be part of a family. He needs to be restructured. And he needs to be, he needs to understand that if, like earlier, I heard you, advocating for somebody else and that's God's grace over your life. But he needs to understand that if the judge is advocating of the attorney, people are coming in to bear witness of this transition, that if there's a breach, well, then we need to come back to the courtroom and follow up on whatever has to be done because of a breach of the terms and conditions. He can't say he hasn't been loved. He can't say we haven't tried. He can't say there's no room for error. It's just whatever sentencing has to take place after, if there is a breach. But I'm confident that there won't be a breach contract. If you permit.
I'll pass the leadership.
Yes. Yeah.
Morning, Pastor.
Hi.
Do you know the defendant, Mr. Daniel Morales?
I've known him, I met him last year and I confronted him. I walked up to him. He's pretty tall.
So you're going on for less than a year?
Probably, last time I saw him was, maybe August or September.
Okay, so
Something like that. Yeah, it was an outreach, because we do outreach from 12 to 3. We partner with Corazon Ministries and other nonprofits to go to our outreach. But I walked up to him, I confronted him. I said, you know what, God's gonna use me in your life. And I don't know how it's gonna happen. I didn't think it was gonna happen like this.
So you're unaware of his behavior other than just that brief encounter?
Yeah, he's come to a couple of the prayer groups. He's shown an interest, like a drawing. But outside of that,
All right, so this program that you've been talking about, what's the accountability for people that mess up along the way? Is there accountability?
oh yes, sir, there's reprimands, there's disciplinary action, extra detail.
What kind of disciplinary actions are there?
Kitchen detail. There's a zero tolerance for fighting, I'll tell you that. So if he lays hands on somebody, that's termination from the program.
Okay.
Yeah, we do random UAs.
How long is the program?
The program, and it's a minimum of 6 months, but it could be a maximum from 6 to 9 months for phase 1.
And how long is phase 2?
Phase 2 would be about the same thing. They do the first 90 days. The first 90 days is almost equivalent to like a faith-based sober living. And then they have to renew it because in phase 2, they have to show proof of employment. They have to show proof of their saving income. There's paperwork that they have to fill out. They have to make weekly meetings, chores and community service hours that they have to do as part of their conditions for one phase 2. So it could be its first 90 days. But within the first 90 days, they're not showing improvement. That means they got comfortable and they're sitting on the edge, getting ready to be dismissed. So they can be dismissed in phase 2.
All right. Does it have an anger management component to the program?
Yes, it does.
Does it have any type of component to deal with people that have violent tendencies?
Yes.
Okay. Pastor Windischmeyer.
Oh, yes.
All right, any further questions?
I should have spoke this way, sorry.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
I should have spoken that way.
Oh, that's okay. No, I could hear.
Okay,
Thank you. All right, call your next witness.
Your Honor, this sounds like Daniel Morales.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Daniel Morales.
All right, in just one moment. Is the interpreter ready
I'm ready, Your Honor.
with the interpreter?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, and we're off the record, and what is your case about?
Ezekiel Chavez, it's 6 months to do no application.
All right, I'm so sorry. Let me finish this hearing and then I'll take you up next.
We're ready.
All right, thank you.
Judge.
Yes,
Um,
we're back on the record.
Mr. Morales, you've heard all of the testimony prior to this, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've had that discussion about the need for structure, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you recognize that if this judge were to look kindly on the probation application, that none of that would matter if you do not have a desire for change.
Yes, sir. I understand.
And are you asking the court to grant you probation?
Yes, I am.
And if granted probation, do you understand that there's a multitude of things that you could do that could get you sent to jail for up to 20 years?
Yes, sir. I understand.
You also understand that we know it was a back and forth with the alleged victim. Okay, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you understand that there's no more contact with that person.
There's no more contact.
Y'all don't have any children together,
No.
but you do have a child.
Yes, sir.
And part of when your grandmother when I was talking to her, but also on your urging, a lot of this is because you don't want your son to be dealing with what you're dealing with right now, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you recognize that you need to actually have some training and accountability to get you to a place where your child can inherit your recovery.
Yes, sir.
So last question I would have for you is, what does surrender mean to you?
I think surrender, look to me, I think it means change.
You're willing to give up these past ways of reacting to situations you don't like.
Yes, sir.
And you're willing to accept instructions on how to respond to things you may or may not like, correct?
Yeah, I'm willing to change so I can do better for myself, not only for myself, for my son.
I will pass it.
All right, you may proceed.
Mr. Morales, how old is your son?
It's 4, about to be 5.
Okay. When your son grows up, if he gets involved in an altercation where he assaults his girl, for example, do you feel like he should be held accountable for doing so? What about if it's his mother? If he assaulted his mother, you think he should be held accountable? Do you think if he threatens someone's life, you think he should be held accountable? I'll pass the witness, Ryan.
Any further questions?
Nothing further, judges.
I have a few questions. Any objections?
No objection from the state.
All right. So,
And what we prefer, Judge, we would, in terms of the stipulations that we had tendered to the court, probably should have done this before. Believe those are the same steps that we signed previously with the amendments that we had. Okay.
all right. So this is my concern and what I'm looking at. You have a case from September 16, 2024 with this complainant. And that's pointing a deadly weapon at her, namely a knife. And then you have a case from December 8, 2024. And that's another assaultive behavior against the same complainant, and this time choking her. And all of this is over your breakfast not having ketchup. So number one, what breakfast that you wanted did not have ketchup? This is just for me to know.
The only reason why I brought that up is because I was getting cheated on and
No. So here's the thing. When people cheat on people, you have two choices. One, you forgive them and expect that accept that they're cheating on you. And if they deny it, you either say, okay, they've denied it, I'm gonna let it go. But your choices are either you stay and you accept it or you move on. So back to this ketchup business. So what breakfast were you having that you were so upset that there was no ketchup?
she was upset she didn't have any, and I told her.
No, let me just tell you what the steps read. It says they spoke to the complainant. The complainant stated that they had been arguing since last night. You struck her on the face. And let me see, where is it? Where you told her to let that BAN get ketchup for her.
Yes.
So this was over ketchup. And it was you who wanted the ketchup.
No,
It says that you wanted ketchup. So what breakfast, was this eggs? It says the complainant stated today they argued because she made breakfast and they did not have ketchup.
I don't eat ketchup with my eggs. She does. And she told me that she didn't have any, so I told her to tell him to go buy it for her.
Yeah. And so how does this turn into you grabbing a knife?
Because she has people knocking at her door and I couldn't defend myself.
Okay, so that's in September. So you grab a knife in September because you can't defend yourself because she has people in whatever category you're talking about. So then the question becomes, if you think she's cheating in September and you're telling her to tell some other guy to get some ketchup for her eggs, and you pull a knife on her because you're afraid of other people she has, then why are you with her in December?
Because when I got out, she told me that she wanted to take me back. And
But no, why would you want to go back? She's cheating on you. She has these other people in some category that you're afraid of, and you have to pull a knife on her. So why would you even go back to her?
because she told me it was just a sugar daddy that is just some old guy who gives her money. I believe it. And
So then we come to the December case. And the December case involves choking. And it says that that she didn't immediately report because you're controlling and overhear her conversations and read her text messages. So it says that she contacted the babysitter to see if the babysitter could come by. And when the babysitter came by, she let the babysitter know what was going on. So I'm assuming this complainant you were with has children.
yes, she has children.
And when you say children, how many children?
She has two, a daughter and a son.
And what are their ages?
I think her daughter was 2 and her son was 6.
2 and 6?
Yes.
All right, so you all are having these children see violence in the household, 2 and 6. You think she's cheating? She says she's not. Then she tells you it's a sugar daddy, and you're okay with that, which means you're okay with her doing whatever she does to get money, according to you, from a sugar daddy. And where was your child in all of this? This child that now you need to be there for, and you want them to see different things. Where were they?
I was still seeing him every day, and she didn't like it because she thought I was talking to the mother of my child.
And that's the other thing. Why would you be with somebody who you think is cheating on you, who has friends in categories that you feel you have to defend yourself with a knife by placing a knife on her, who then tells you it's a sugar daddy, and to top it all off, she really doesn't want you around your own child? Why would you be with that person?
Because I made a mistake.
Nope, these are choices. These are not mistakes.
Yes, it was my choice, and my choice turned into a mistake.
All right. And what's with this tattoo on the face?
It used to say her name, but I covered it up to my brother who passed away.
All right. So, and then you get her name tatted on your face. So you get her name tatted on your face. Don't even have your son's name tatted on your face.
No, I have it all.
As a side note, this is what I always tell people. When you're getting tattoos of people's names, these are your best options. Your mother, because your mother's supposed to always love you, and your children. Getting names of females or males, never a good idea. And what's with this San Antonio tattoo? Do you love San Antonio that much that you need that tattoo? What's that about?
I was born here.
Oh, a lot of people are born here, but they don't have a San Antonio. How many people are born here in were you born in, do you have a San Antonio tattoo?
I don't either, Judge.
So what's that really
I love
about?
San Antonio.
I recently started getting tattoos, so I like how tattoos are.
And then it says 210.
Yes.
Yeah, what's going on with the tattoo?
Like I said, it's just where I'm from.
All righty. Is that your story? You know, you stick to your story.
Yes, ma'am.
What's that tattoo about?
Like I said, it's just where I'm from.
Well, I don't know, if I may.
Oh, no. You can ask whatever questions you want to ask counsel.
The environment in which you were raised, I think you probably get to what the court may be alluding to.
Look, are you a gang member?
No.
So why do you have that tattoo?
And if I could.
Sure.
And if you did, it would be more along the lines of like thousands of people in San Antonio are posers. For example, there's thousands of people in San Antonio who unknowingly have, for example, the Michael Jordan Jumpman design on their arms because they think it's cool around other people, not understanding what connotation that has with actual gang members who are danger to this society and probably shouldn't be here. You understand that, but as basically a kid, how old were you when you got this tattoo?
I got it about a year ago.
Okay, so how old were you?
I was 21.
Okay, so as a 21-year-old, not fully understanding the ramifications of certain things, you personally just thought it was cool. It had nothing to do with you being a gang member.
No, I just got it because I started getting tattoos.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Stay just argument.
All right. All right. In each of the cases, the court does, I don't think you're a good candidate for probation. Unless the complainant is going to walk in here and says that she wants you to have probation, it's not happening. I'm going to find you guilty in each cause number. You all have,
Your Honor, were we able to make the argument or support just?
I'm finding him guilty. You all can make an argument as it relates to the cap. All right, so it's a cap of 5. The court will hear argument.
In support of Kappa 5, Your Honor, the defendant has a long violent history. Essentially, since 2020, he's picked up violent offenses. In 2020, he got a cleansing assault. I was unable, since it's a city offense, to determine the facts of it, but I do know that he served 5 months deferred. In 2021, he had a misdemeanor, ABI family violence, that he did an 8-day JSAT on. The following year, 2022, he picks up another Class C assault that he does 5 months probation on. 2023, a terroristic threat, family violence, that he does 8 months deferred adjudication on. And then these two, all within the same year that we're here for today. There are actually 3 cases, one's being TIC as part of the plea, but I feel that because of this defendant's long violent history, he is not a candidate for probation, and that prison would be the most appropriate option for him.
All right, defense.
Your Honor, we would ask the court to consider the lower end of the cap on this case, which is 2 years. He's expressed a lot of contrition. Of course, in these cases, there are always, but what we would say in terms of the complainant, we guess we would renew this motion to the court. My understanding is that the state, that the complainant has moved out of state and that they weren't here. So if the court would give us time to possibly get an investigator to try to bring her in, or at least see if she has an issue with probation, we would ask the court's leave to possibly do so with the reset. But if the court is not so inclined to allow for the state to try to reach her, or for us to reach her, we would ask the court to come in on the lower end of the range here. He understands that there were things he could have done differently. We're also very, very careful in making sure that we're not blaming the quote unquote victim in any way in these situations. But what we will say is that she was much older than the defendant. There was a significant amount of manipulation, but again, which is why we presented that evidence to the court. We believe that he didn't have the background to be able to develop the ability to react in a way that would be within the guise of the law, as opposed to ways that could be construed as criminal offenses. Given his age, given the support structure that he has, we would ask the court to come in we would ask the court to give him a sentence of 2 years on this case. And we would also ask the court if the court would be willing to maintain jurisdiction over the case if the court were inclined to give him anything over 2 years.
All right. In each cause number, the court, as previously stated, is finding you guilty. The court will sentence you to 5 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's a $1,500 fine, time and money to run concurrent. There's an affirmative finding of family violence in each cause number. There's to be no contact with the complainant. Taking consideration 2025 CR 002680. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. There's to be no residing with any household that has minors. And our request the therapeutic community in each cause number. In each cause number, did you review the documents entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes.
All right, because these are plea bargain agreements, because I followed your plea bargain agreements, because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have your court's permission to appeal. Because these are felony convictions, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Counsel, I'll retain jurisdiction. We'll see how he does.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Who is here on the?
Okie dokie. Since we went a half an hour long, that'll be the last case that we watch today. But I've been quiet most of the day, so I'm just going to speak up real quick. This is the kind of stuff that really bothers me. As a father, I worry a lot about the world that we're leaving to the next generation, and the kind of people that we're creating for the next generation. And this is just an example of how, in my opinion, in so many ways, we're just not building good people. All of this over breakfast and ketchup really seems to be the impetus of all of it. Obviously, there's more going on, but I don't know. I shake my head in disbelief. I'm a prayerful person, so I pray every day for better. But, you know, look at what we had at the turn of the 20th century versus what we have 20 some years into the 21st century, and tell me how we've made progress from a societal standpoint. I don't think we have. Hopefully, somehow, some way, that gets better, but time will tell. Anywho, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and call it a day there. Do me a favor on your way out. Please consider smashing the like button if you haven't already, if I've earned that today. In the pinned comment in the chat, you'll find 2 links. One is to sign up for our newsletter. We're going to be starting that up around the middle of this month. Mrs. The Courtroom Files and I have been marketing and selling and doing a whole bunch of things online for 25 years now. We've never once sold anybody's information. We don't even share email lists between our own businesses, so your information is safe. I'd love to have you as a subscriber to the newsletter. And if you feel like I've earned it, if you would consider becoming a channel member, only $2.99 a month gets you a lot of extras, and quite honestly, all that money just goes right back into supporting the channel. I don't pocket a dime of it. Advice, Mom. Actually, the crime rate has been falling steadily since the 70s. Reality is subjective. I don't disagree with the crime rate end of things. I'm talking about the quality of people. Just my opinion. I don't think we're making better people overall. Now, reasonable minds can disagree. You can have another view on that, and I'd certainly welcome you to agree or disagree. It's just my thoughts on the matter. Anyways, we'll go ahead and leave it there. I'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. Oh, I did work 18-hour days all weekend to clear up all of the work for this entire week for every other business that we run here at the Courtroom Files Bunker, so I can concentrate on just this channel all week long. So hopefully I can get some good things done for all of us and keep bringing you quality content. Again, appreciate it. Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. Take care, and God bless.